For more on this, let's bring in Jim Saker. He's the head of the UK's Loughborough University Centre of Automotive Management. Jim, this isn't the first time Fiat Chrysler has sought a merger. Under former CEO Sergio Marchionne, the company floated the idea of a deal with General Motors. Is Renault a better fit, and how likely do you think that it's going to be successful?
From a business point of view, it definitely fits. There isn't a problem from that perspective. There is definitely a need for some of the companies to come together to pool resource. Obviously, with the change in technology from petrol to electric through to hydrogen, this presents a major challenge for these companies in their research and development expenditure.
What would a merger like this, though, mean for jobs, particularly on the production line? Is that a concern?
It very much depends on where each individual country, if you look at the markets around the world, Japan is going very much on the hydrogen, Korea is going hydrogen, other countries are going EV, United States has a different mindset completely. And so therefore it very much depends on how the governments in those countries decide to develop the infrastructure to support the different types of car that are going to be available. And therefore that will drive whether or not there will be job cuts or not. It will be dependent very much on what the demand is in those countries.
The markets have reacted positively initially to the news, but there are some concerns from either side of the governments about what this could mean going forward. Do you think that it is likely to get through those hurdles and to be successful?
It's a very difficult question because obviously there was some reluctance from the point of the Japanese government to allow Nissan to be bought wholly by Renault. There will be political underpinnings with this, but from a business point of view, purely on the business front, it makes total sense because each of those companies is developing different technologies. Combining the two together gives them a global reach. It gives them the opportunity of developing markets they wouldn't normally have access to. And so therefore, potentially, it could actually drive jobs as opposed to cutting them back. But it will depend on where those markets and which of those markets grows going forward. Big opportunity for them if they get this right. If it goes wrong, then there will obviously be job cuts.
What happens now? We're obviously in the very early stages. How long do negotiations like this usually take?
It very much depends on how much government interference is involved. There will obviously be due diligence done on both sides to make sure that there aren't too many conflicting interests and issues that are going to arise. But one would suspect this could go through relatively quickly if it isn't impacted by government intervention, because it makes sense. If you looked at the amount of R&D expenditure globally, out of the top 5 companies in the world, 3 of them are car manufacturers. And so therefore the amount they're spending on car manufacture in car research and development is enormous. And therefore, if they can rationalise that, become more efficient, then it makes a lot of sense to the companies involved, but also to the governments potentially, because that will allow them to have that capacity to expand and supply the markets with the appropriate products.
There's been a lot of shake-up lately in the automotive industry. Do you think we can see more merger proposals like this, or maybe companies collaborating as they really try and lock down some of these hurdles that are thrown in front of them at the moment?
I think it's something which is happening already. It's just not making such headlines as this particular merger. A lot of companies are collaborating together to try and get to a position whereby they can share platforms, share technology. It's happening already. It's just whether it's formalised, whether it becomes alliances or whether it actually becomes mergers and takeovers, which is obviously in this particular route one which Renault and Fiat Chrysler are talking about.
Jim Saker from Loughborough University, thank you very much for your time.